Hello, and welcome back to Satisfactory. In our last episode, we did kind of a deep dive on recipes, alternate recipes, and kind of some choices that were made, why I made those choices, as far as what alternate recipes I'm going to use, why I'm going to use the ones I'm going to use, why I'm not going to use the ones I'm not going to use, and everything else. Since I recorded the last episode, right after I finished, I had a realization, a bit of a duh moment, and I figured out where the supercomputer and the radio control unit researches are. They're in the M.A.M. We never finished the Deuterium nor quartz trees. So the first thing we're going to do, though, is finish this hard drive research. I'm going to obviously put the space elevator researches at the very bottom of my list, so we're going to take this one even though we're not going to use it. It's the electrode circuit board, rubber plus petroleum coke. So this is basically, what if you wanted to make a circuit board completely out of oil products? Makes circuit boards. And instead of jumping into researching another hard drive right now, we're going to scroll down here and do some Deuterium research. I picked up most of what we need for the rest of the Deuterium and quartz researches, except for some of the high-speed connectors and some of the crystal oscillators. Just didn't have enough made down at the other end of the bus yet. Hopefully they'll get made during this episode, and I'll be able to pick them up, and we'll be able to do those whatever that last research or two are that need those two items in the next episode. So we're unlocking supercomputers, and 3 seconds later, it's done. So we won't be able to get power poles Mark III. We need another 31 high-speed connectors, but that's fine. We could do... Oh, no, we need more than that. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I need another 150, 31 and then 50 more here. I'm going to go ahead and skip this one as well because I'd rather save them up for the power poles. We need the supercomputers in order to get the geothermal generators. So I'm going to wait. We're going to obviously wait on that one until we've rebuilt our bus and have the supercomputers ready to go. And we also need supercomputers for the programmable splitters. So we're going to wait on that one as well. But don't let me forget they're there. And then we need to do radio control units and radar technology. I'm going to skip radar technology and do radio control units because the radars are... we're not actually going to use... I'm probably not going to use the radars. I may just build one just to have one built, but all they really do, if I bring up the map window here, is they start to reveal areas around them in a large circle, but it's just a one-time static review, kind of just like us running around and doing the exploration that we've done. So I don't see a whole lot of point in building radars just to build radars, because you have to build them very high up in order for them to reveal all the high spots, like these little splotches are here. And they don't do anything other than reveal once. So I'm going to leave them alone. I like how when I went out here to the very edge of the dune desert, it revealed a little bit over here. Nice wraparound map kind of thing. And kind of funny how that's the edge of the map. We looked out over that, but there it doesn't show anything there, and also down here as well. So anyway, that's what we're going to do with the radar. So I will do the research once I have the other 100 crystal oscillators, but for now, not going to do it. And then the last thing we needed... Oh, we did do it. We got the radio control unit. We got the supercomputer. So those are the last two items we needed to unlock in order to complete our bus plan. Oh, so let's start another hard drive here. And while that hard drive is researching, I want to start with one thing and then move on to another. The first thing I want to start out with is to show you the spreadsheet that I've built. As you all are aware, there are a number of online calculators that can help with figuring out exactly how much of one assembling machine, whether that be anything from a smelter all the way up to a manufacturer or a refinery, all of those machines we had built last time, and how many of them you need in order to provide enough of the product you need to feed down the line. So what I've done is I've taken all of the data for all of the recipes in the game. The green ones are the ones I'm intending on using. The blue ones are the ones that I have, although I didn't update it after the last episode or the one we just got. So there are a couple that should be highlighted that aren't. And then across the top are all of the products in the game. So if we come down here just a little bit, like we have concrete here. There are 4 concrete recipes. They all produce concrete, and they all consume some combination of other products, from just simply limestone to limestone and silica to limestone and rubber, which is off to the right here. We'll get to that in a minute. Or limestone and water. So what I've done is I've made consumption of products be a negative number and production of products being a positive number. And that seems kind of more realistic to me, as far as the process, the recipe consumes, so that's a negative number. It takes it away, and it produces, therefore that's a positive number. It adds it back. So all the recipes in the game are in here. They're kind of organized in the way that Satisfactory-calculator.com organizes the recipes. That is, organizes the products rather, ores, and then liquids, and then materials, and then components, fuels, and finally ammos. So I've organized it in the same manner, and then all of the recipes here are organized so that they're roughly in the order that, or they may exactly be in the order that their primary output. So in the case of like some of the refiner recipes, when they output 2 items, such as this one here, their primary output, heavy oil in this case, heavy oil residue is the name of the recipe, heavy oil is the primary output. They're sorted so that the primary output is kind of following along with the line of the product that they're outputting. But then the comparable recipe to that one, being the polymer resin recipe that also produces polymer resin and crude oil, is actually down here someplace, because polymer resin is its primary, even though it also outputs heavy oil residue, its primary output is polymer resin. So even though those 2 recipes are complementary to each other, they both output the same. They both consume the same item, and they output the same 2 items. They are fundamentally different in the way that they are sort of targeted. So I've organized them as such. So all the recipes in the game are here. There are 135 recipes. Line 137 minus 2, so 135 total recipes in the game right now. And then and so that's kind of my base for what I'm using to calculate. And then I created this tab. And what this tab does is it does a lookup so that I can pick a recipe from a drop down here, and then I can type in a multiplier. And this is the number of machines that I want to produce the item. So for my final base, when I'm totally done with the base, I want to have 0.4 manufacturers making iodine-infused filters. That'll output 1.5 filters per minute, which is really honestly a ridiculous number, but I'm doing that specifically because of the amount of polymer resin specifically, which is this column here, that is output by the heavy oil residue recipe. Because we needed 200 heavy oil residue, and that means we're going to get 100 polymer resin a minute. So I needed to consume that polymer resin or throw it away, shred it, whatever, as polyester fabric. And then that polyester fabric, I want to consume all of it because I don't need it for anything other than making the filters. So that's consumed here as filters. And then that filter recipe will make just over 3 per minute. So I figured I'll put half of them into iodine-infused filters. It's kind of a who cares sort of situation. But they'll all get stuck into a box, and then they'll be available to me in a mall area that I'm going to set up. sometime in the next few episodes. So everything here that's in green and yellow are the items that I plan on having available to me in the mall. These are all the items that are used for some form of building that is done repetitively. Whether that be a manufacturing machine, again, that whole line from smelters and constructors all the way up to refineries and manufacturers, or belts, or any other logistics for that matter, pipes, even to some extent vehicles, although some of the vehicles do require things like, I believe, crystal oscillators. And wherever that one is, right here, as you can see, it is not highlighted. I am not planning on putting those in a box. The few that I would need to build something, which I think is just the Explorer car, I already have one, and I can go and steal them out of whatever is using this 1.875, this one insulated crystal oscillator manufacturer, which is the Rigger Motors. So I could go to the Rigger Motor Assembly, or to the crystal manufacturer rather, and I can go to the insulated crystal oscillator manufacturer, and I can grab those crystal oscillators out of the machine and just steal the surplus that's there if I need a few. As you can also see, crystal oscillators are only used for one item, one other process I should say, and it's not intended to be on my bus, or in my mall, so it's not going to be on my bus. I see no point in setting up a manufacturer making crystal oscillators and feeding them onto the bus and then taking them off the bus for one thing, which is the Rigger Motors, and then never needing them again. So what I'll just do is in the area where I make Rigger Motors, I'll just have one additional manufacturer making the crystal oscillators, feed the crystal oscillator items into that manufacturer, and it'll be done. I don't see the point in spending or investing a lot of resources into a bus that has items on it we don't need on the bus. I'm going to flash back to the game here real quick and hope... Oh, we have 2 minutes left. Okay. We'll go back to Excel then. So there's a few other items, or a fair number of other items like that. But as you can see, I have 57 minus 4, so I have 53 products that I'm planning on making in this base. This base will not make anything related to the nuclear. That will all be made locally at the nuclear base, because you can't handle nuclear stuff where you're going to physically be without the aforementioned iodine-infused filters. So I've decided to just make a completely separate base that takes in all of its own raw materials and makes the nuclear stuff. And those are the plans down here that I'm working on as well. I do intend at some point to share this spreadsheet, so if this is something you're interested in, definitely come to my Discord, which is in the description below, and of course say hi and chat with me about Satisfactory and any other game you enjoy, as well as the other folks who are there. But I will probably share it in my Discord first, just to kind of vet it a little bit more, make sure that it makes sense to some other people who actually using it before I share it any wider than that. So if you'd like to have access to it sooner than others, come to my Discord, say hi, and I'll be posting this in my Satisfactory channel very soon. Once I flush it out with my nuclear plans, probably. But the cool thing is with this, you could literally just make a copy of a sheet like this, and you have another plan you can edit and work with. So that's why I did this like this, so you can build a plan for each. If you're going to do like a modular base, you can have a plan for each module, and you can do this kind of however you want to build it. But anyway, this is my plan for how I want everything to come out of my base. And before I do go over that part, the hard drive just jingled. It is finished. So we're going to take a look here. Rubber concrete, heat exchanger, or Caterium wire. If we look back at the spreadsheet, I don't know if, let me see if I can scroll it. Hold on, let me switch back to it myself. Rubber concrete is not one of the recipes I plan on using. It's not highlighted. Heat exchanger is. once I find it. Here it is, heat exchanger. And I've forgotten now what the third item was. Let me switch back to the game. Caterium wire. I believe that is not the recipe that I want to use for wire. It is not indeed. We're using fused wire, which does use caterium, but it uses caterium in a different fashion. Sorry, I'm moving the window so I don't have to switch back and forth between Excel and the game. I have them foolishly both on the same monitor. So, so I'm going to pick the heat exchanger here because we definitely want to use this item in our base. And that recipe wouldn't have shown up until we had unlocked the milestone that we unlocked in the last episode. Alright, and there's another hard drive being researched. So, what I wanted to kind of go over here is what I'm planning on getting out of... Oh, that's the wrong tab. What I'm planning on getting out of this bus system, and what I'll have available to me per minute in a mall at the end. So basically any number you see across the top here, this is a net. So like you can see that the iodine infused filters are consuming 1.5 filters per minute. The filters are producing 3.1. Therefore we end up with 1.6 filters per minute in a box. All these numbers across here, any number that's greater than 1 is a surplus that I'm intending to have, and that is going to the mall. So any number that's greater than 1 up here is going to the mall. Small numbers, or very small numbers, as this one is, this one here, a 0, which is just a rounding error, all of those are not going to the mall. AI limiters aren't used for constructing anything, so I see no point in having them available to me in a box. The belt storage that I have is plenty enough because I'm going to be producing exactly as much, that is enough for 6 per minute to go into turbo rigger motors, and 4.2 per minute to go into supercomputers, and 1.9 per minute to go into insulated crystal oscillators. So that's 12.1. But as you can see, AI limiters, just continuing to use this as an example, goes to 3 different places. It goes to turbo rigger motors, supercomputers, and insulated crystal oscillators. That means that I need to have them on the bus. So I tried to tally up the number of items that I'm going to have on my bus, and it turns out I need to have 36 items on the bus, which is a bit insane for a single bus. So what I've been thinking about since I recorded the last episode is how to design the bus to work better. How to design it to be I'm thinking a double bus, but I need to be very, very careful with how I design that so that I lay out the items that aren't going to conflict on, so for example, if I wanted to make cartridges on my bus, I wouldn't want to put rubber and steel pipe someplace where they would conflict on the bus, but I also want to be very careful so that I can pass items through the bus to the other, through from the bus on the right, on the far side of the assembling machines, through the one on the near side and out to the assembling area. I haven't figured that out yet, exactly how I'm going to implement that, but I think I'm going to have to end up with a double bus because trying to build a bus that is 36 belts high plus some is not going to be feasible. I mean, if we look here, let me zoom in using the photo tool. If we look here, I think wire is like row number 8 or something. I mean, we have like 20 something here already, and if you remember in the last, what's that on the top? I think that's silica or something. If you remember in the last time we were working on the bus, when we were building the last items over there on the wing of the bus, it was a bit challenging to build. It was a bit challenging to build up there. To run that belt across even at 20 something high, maybe 23 or something we were at. I don't remember exactly how high we ended up with. So I'm I'm really reticent to build a 36 plus stackable conveyor pole stackable here high bus. That just doesn't seem feasible. I know we talked at one point about having catwalks and stuff alongside the bus. I still probably will do that, but even then it would be very difficult to build the bus. So I'm going to try and come up with a design of how to do this as best as I can. If you have suggestions, again, feel free to comment here, or better yet, come to my Discord so we can have an extended discussion. But I want to try and figure this out. I have an idea, but I want to try and see if I can implement it well before I show that a double. My idea is the double bus, but I want to try and see how I can implement it before I start working on it. So given that, we could go back to the Excel. I'm not sure if there's anything else that's really needs to be shown, other than just everything is rolled up. So in the end, these are the items that we need of raw material, raw materials incoming into the base, somewhere into the base. 240 limestone, that's a Mark II miner on a pure node. We have 2 pure nodes already. I could either keep the 2 pure nodes at Mark I, or do one of the pure nodes at Mark II and call it a day. I don't know which one I'm going to do at this point, but I could do one or the other. Iron, 339. We have 4 pure nodes that we're sitting on top of, plus the one that's being used down at the end of steel. 4 pure nodes times Mark I miner is 480. So we really only need 3 Mark I miners. 333 copper ore. We have 2 pure nodes, so I'll make one of them a Mark II and one of them a Mark I, and we'll be done with copper. Caterium, 230. We have 2 normal nodes. That's 2 Mark II miners on both normal nodes. We have enough caterium within range. Coal, we have a pure plus a few normals, I think is what it is. We have plenty of coal as well. Raw quartz, we have 2 pure nodes. That's 120 each on 120 each if we use Mark I miners, so we're fine there. I guess the big question would be on which miner I use. And let me just look in game. I'm not going to switch it, but I'll read it out loud when I get there here. Mark I miner is 5 megawatts. Mark II miner is 12. So it's cheaper power-wise to use 2 Mark Is rather than a Mark II. So I will probably, when there's no other contention, or there's no other issue, I will just use the Mark Is. If belt spaghetti is not an issue, if there's no other weird issues with it, I'm just going to use the Mark Is. Sulfur, we need almost no sulfur. Not worried about it. We have right now, I think, a Mark I miner on a normal node that's 60. We have plenty of sulfur. Bauxite is 280. We're mining right now at least 270. I know we have 210 coming into the base right now. So we need to crank up the bauxite coming in a little bit, but not much. We're doing pretty well there. Water, 1311 divided by 300. That's not even 5 pipes. That's within 5 pipes full of water. That's not unreasonable. I'm bringing one, well, not a full one in, but I'm bringing 80% of a full one in right now. What I'm probably going to do is the ones that need to come up here for smelting, for the steamed copper. Well, steamed copper sheets actually be down a level, but for the pure iron ingots, the wet concrete, whatever I need up here, I'm just going to bring them up side by side here, like this one is. Bring another one up right here, and bring it up. Take it up one more level though, and tie it in. And I'm not going to put pipes on level 2. Any pipes that need to be dropped off down at the net level below will get dropped off down there. Any pipes that need to be dropped off down at the refinery will be dropped off down there. So I'm just going to kind of go through stages. So, I mean, of the 5 pipes, we could look at what's going to come all the way up to the top. 200 here. Polyester fabric, I haven't decided we're going to make it yet. It's probably going to be made in the refining area, though. Pure quartz crystal, that'll get brought up here. Aluminum scrap's going to be up here, but it's going to be netted out with alumina solution. Pure iron ingots up here. Packaged water is going to be down in the refinery. So we really only need 656 up here, which is just over 2 full pipes up here. It may end up... I don't know how I'm going to do it exactly yet, but... and then a little bit goes to... a whole pipe basically goes to steam copper sheets, and then the rest of it gets left in the refinery. Over a pipe here alone left in the refinery, as well as... no. Polyester fabric, I think probably will get left down there too. So we'll figure it out, but it's that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pipe it up here. What do I care? It's 4 megawatts per pipe per 20 meters. We have one pump there. I guess I could jump down. No, I'm going to run over here instead and show it on an angle. A pump there, and there's another pump down a little bit below. The rest of the pumps are out there, bringing it up from the ocean through this this gap that I showed the last time. Crude oil, we only need 150 crude oil for the amount of plastic and rubber and whatnot that we're going to make. That's not even the amount of crude oil that's being provided there. So the rest of the crude oil that's coming in is going to go into fuel. I'm going to make a large... actually, I'm probably going to make it out there. I'm going to make a large fuel generator. Is that what they're called? Oh, geez, oh, Pete, I'm looking... you're still looking at Excel. I've been showing this off, and you guys can't even see it. Okay. Back here quickly. I'm just going to bring these up side by side here. As many over as I need to go. Stack them up, but not on level 2. We have pumps here, there, and I think one more down below. Maybe 2 down there. I can't remember. But we have a few pumps. It's 4 megawatts per pump, per pipe. Not worried about it. The crude oil that's over here is more than what we'll ever need for the plastic and stuff. So the crude oil that's currently out there at the water, I'm going to take it back out there and make a fuel plant out there, probably just on top of the water kind of thing. And we'll just make electricity out there at a fuel plant. I'll just switch over one of these pipes here that's currently bringing in crude to bringing in water. Because we're going to need 5 pipes full of water up here. So I think that's all I said that you guys couldn't see. Let's see if the hard drive's done. Should be, if it's not already, it should be close. It is. So again, rubber concrete, Caterium wire, and Caterium circuit board. None of these are the ones we want. So at this point, I don't really care which one. But I'm just going to pick one. And I'll start another hard drive. So looking at the recipe list, let me show you guys Excel again. The ones that are green that aren't highlighted in blue. Radio control system and turbo rigger motor, I think, are the 2 that I'm still looking for. Unless we got those in the last episode, and I haven't updated this with those yet. So hopefully we get them in these last 2 hard drives. Otherwise, I'll be making another run out into... we haven't done hard drives yet at. I think kind of down in here, which is where we left off. And I can go out and get these 2, I suppose, as well, that we left the last time. And kind of go down in here and get more hard drives. This is the area that I explored. I think we talked about it in the last episode. This is the area that I explored between the previous episode and the one before that. Oh, by the way, I don't think I showed this, but I found where I'm going to put my nuclear plant. It's going to go right here. This is a nice little valley or whatever in between a ring wall of rock here. There's a passage here, and here, and here at least. There might be one here as well. I can't remember. But it's kind of a cool little area here. And I'm going to set up 2 or 3 nuclear plants, depending on if I use the default recipes or the alternates. Because one manufacturer of the default nuclear recipe makes enough for 2 plants. One manufacturer of the alternate recipe makes enough for 3 nuke plants. But I'm going to bring in all the materials that are here or into here kind of locally. There's some stuff right around here. Everything we need except for quartz, which is why I'm waffling on whether to make the default recipes or the alternate recipes, because the alternates require quartz. There is quartz over here somewhere, I think, so I could bring it in either via train or belt. I haven't decided yet. It probably just depends on what kind of a headache that is to bring it across, how far it is, what kind of a headache it is, and then we'll see when I set it up. But there's iron and coal and... oh, geez, you're not looking at the map again. Okay. You're going to yell at me in the comments tomorrow. I know this when the episode airs. This area here, which is relative to the base, is right here. There are... this is why I had Excel on the same screen as Satisfactory. That way I would remember to switch you guys back and forth as I was switching me back and forth. So there's the passages here and here, here and here, and maybe one here as well, that I can bring materials in through. Right around in this area, there's a bunch of iron and copper and coal, sulfur, I think, as well, that we need. Maybe over into here. I can't remember exactly how wide it is, but there's a bunch of materials that we need right nearby here, except for quartz. It's over here somewhere. I don't remember exactly where. But if I need to explore, I'll come out here into this area that's still black, basically, and see what's available down there for hard drives, and I can get the 2 that we left behind the last time, because I have filters now. Some filters, not many, but some. Filters. Where are 8 filters left? That'd be enough to get a hard drive, I think. I can always make more, too. We have 6 minutes left. So I think the other thing that I wanted to do today was to start looking at what we need to lay out for each smelting column. I want to leave this bit of space here, this last block at least, foundation block at least, for the pipes to bring the water in and across. And then I actually want to move this stuff out a little bit further, and I'm going to rebuild the aluminum out a little bit further. I didn't think about this, but I think I want to have kind of a double bus here as well. We figured out that we needed just over 2 pipes up here of water, I think it was. So I want to be careful, or maybe I'll just let everything stack up super high here. I think I'll put the water low. I'll skip the second slot, and then so water, skip, water, and then just a pile of ore, basically. But it's only going to really be... Now I'm switching into Excel without you guys, but it's only going to really be a belt of each, because we can make Mark V belts. We can carry 780. Nothing, though, that I think anything we're making, nothing needs more than a Mark IV. So we don't even need to make the all-clad belts. I'm still going to make the stuff for them just so we have it, but we don't need it. So what I kind of want to do is kind of think about how I want to lay this out. So if we started copper here, copper is going to be made with the we're going to use the copper alloy ingot recipe, which means that we need to make those in a foundry. You know what? Actually, I am going to leave space for a double bus. My reason being... Well, not a double bus, but leave some space here. My reason being is I want to be able to pass the ingots for everything down through a gap here in the platform, and down to where we're going to make like the steamed copper sheets and the wire and the whatever else you make, cable, whatever else you make, well, directly out of ingots. You don't make cable directly out of ingots, but whatever it is we make directly out of ingots, I want to be able to pass those through an opening here and down, kind of like we passed up the silica and quartz way over there, and how I'm passing this copper down through here. So I want to leave probably 3 whole foundations, so I definitely don't want to build anything before this line here, and no closer than this line here. and that would be where the belts are. So if I'm building a foundry here, the first foundry for copper, whichever way I put it, needs to probably come no further this way than that, so that I can put the mergers down this way and then drop a lift down with the copper ingots on it down there to however I'm going to set up the assemblers down there, and constructors and everything. And then the first foundry here won't be any closer really than this right about here. So this is where I would put the first foundry for copper, is right here, if that makes sense to everyone. I'm trying to do this without, I guess I can back up a little bit more. Be right there, so that I leave three open foundations here. One for the bus, for the raw material bus. One for, sorry, I had to pause. My phone started going off. I needed to mute myself. One for the pass-through, and then one for a walkway. Or maybe a walkway and then the pass-through. That might be better even. But either way, and I'll probably only have like one pass-through for each material. Like one foundation removed for each material. So like this foundation, which would be the pass-through, would be the pass-through foundation block for copper ingots. This one would still be here, and that one would still be there, but this one would be missing, and then this one would be filled in as my walkway. So this will be a walkway here, and then this will be a walkway here, just so that I have some space to move around, because if we're going to lay this out, we might as well lay it out to kind of look nice. And then we'll have the mergers here for the copper, and if I look at the copper alloy ingot recipe, I need 6.66 foundries. So basically 7 foundry buildings with at least one of them downclocked, to produce the ingots that we need of copper. Those will all get passed down. Oh, so I guess we do need, for copper ingots, we do need a Mark V belt and conveyor, because we don't get enough out of it for this. So I wasn't taking into account things like ingots, just raw materials. So we will actually have some Mark V lifts and conveyors, which will be nice. It'd be nice to see those belts zooming by. And what I'll probably do even for the walkways is I will obviously have a fence here, fencing off the opening, but I might even make fence along the walkway the whole way, so that it's kind of like a fenced off walkway, to kind of make it look nice. And if I do this right, throughout this whole playthrough, if I do this right, then I think this will be a nice looking base in the end. So, and actually, you know what, I was just thinking as I was looking at this, I may not even bring water in on the first line. I may start just on the third and just have 2 empty lifts and then a water pipe, and then belts of ores. That might be better, because the water's going to have to go up in order to come across, because I want to be able to walk underneath it here. And you can, I guess, walk underneath the first stack pole, but I think it'll look a little bit nicer if I have it more open. I don't know. We'll see how it looks when I start building it. I think that's probably the best option. And then we'll either go with water on 1 and 3 with 2 being open, or we'll go with water on 3 and 4. Well, 3 and 4 with 1 and 2 both being open. Okay, let's go back over here to the M.A.M. So we're not going to build anything today. I'm actually going to get rid of this foundry because it's not in the right spot anyway. We're not actually going to build anything today. That'll start in the next episode, where we start laying out our foundries and our refineries that are up here on this level, which is going to be making ingots and also probably making the wet concrete up here too. We'll also rebuild the refinery and get that completely rebuilt, probably before we start ripping up the main level and the bus. So I have a couple of episodes at least before I have to make a decision on how the bus is going to work and look, but I'm going to be working on that over in my off time over the next few days, so that I have that ready to go when we actually need it. So let's do this final hard drive research. heavy flexible frame, I guess. I want to get all the recipes eventually. Pocket dimension is obviously appealing, but I want to just get all the recipes first. And we'll start that last hard drive, which means that I do need to go exploring for more hard drives. So I'm going to do that also between episodes. And so for this, between now and the next episode, I'll do the planning work I need to do for the bus. I will also get some more hard drives, and then we can start rebuilding in earnest at the beginning of the next episode by laying out the smelting area. So thank you all for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.